In today's video, we're going to be discussing some more of the latest NHL signings, including Dylan Larkin, Christian Dvorak, as well as news on Ottawa Senators' new draft prospect, Brady Tkachuk. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top here, we have some more signings and news to get caught up on in today's video. Now some of this you likely have already heard of from other news outlets as I've been traveling here the last couple of days, so I'm a little bit late getting this out, but I wanted to touch base and give my thoughts on all the latest NHL contracts. Let's get started by talking about the Arizona Coyotes coming to terms with forward Christian Dvorak on a 6-year contract worth $4.45 million. Now at this point in time, Dvorak has 2 full seasons in the NHL. He was certainly eligible for an extension this summer, and he got a big one. He's put up 15 goals the past 2 seasons, so some view this as a risky contract. Others say in a few years' time, this is going to seem like a very cap-friendly, valuable deal, and it certainly could prove to be. I do think Dvorak has a lot of potential to continue evolving and developing as a strong forward for the Coyotes organization, but at this point in time, after 2 years, back-to-back seasons of 15 goals, there certainly is some risk involved. It does surprise me that the Coyotes would commit this long and this much to a player with so little experience based on where the organization is at and the fact that they have a lot of young forwards right now. Obviously a lot of young offensive forwards trying to establish themselves as more regular NHL players and get longer term deals. So there certainly is some risk associated, but I do like Dvorak's game. I think it's quite possible as he evolves as a player over the next few years, as the cap rises and the expectation for contracts changes as well. I do think at some point this could prove to be a very good contract with a lot of value. But for today, it does appear to have some risk, and to be honest, I'm just a little bit unsure here that this was a great move by the Coyotes. Only time will tell here if Chayka made the right move by signing him to a long-term deal after 2 full seasons in the NHL. Next up, we're going to discuss Dylan Larkin and the Detroit Red Wings coming to terms on a 5-year deal worth $6.1 million. Now, this is a player who's been an RFA, not yet eligible for arbitration, so this deal kind of drug out a little bit longer here than we were kind of hoping for, but he's certainly cashed in and got himself a very nice contract. So far in his career, Dylan Larkin has played 242 games. He's put up 56 goals, 84 assists for 140 points. Been a pretty solid player for the Wings. This guy's got incredible speed. He very well could be the new face of the franchise depending on what happens here with Henrik Zetterberg. It's certainly in a case here of Larkin and players like him and Anthony Mantha kind of taking over the team and heading in the new direction here with the Red Wings, trying to bring them back to the promised land, back to prominence, back to the playoffs. And he is going to be a key member of their future. So I certainly like the fact that they locked him up for long term. But one guy who's right now smiling, very happy with that Dylan Larkin contract, is another restricted free agent who's still unsigned this summer, and that's Sam Reinhart. Now, I know Reinhart seems to get a lot of flack sometimes in Buffalo for being inconsistent. If you compare Reinhart's numbers to Larkin's over their short careers here, the numbers are incredibly comparable. They're almost uncanny, in fact. Reinhart's played 249 games, so only a couple more than Larkin. Obviously, Larkin missed a few games to injury, which is the only difference there. Reinhart has scored 65 goals and put up 75 assists also for 140 points. So considering that they have pretty much the exact same number of games played, the exact same number of points. Personally, I guess I never really thought about Reinhart being a $6 million player, but based on this new comparable contract that Dylan Larkin just signed, I think the Sabres are going to have to take a look at that, and I'm sure Reinhart and his agent are going to be pushing hard to use that as a comparable to make sure that he's appropriately paid. So if you're a Wings fan, I'd like to hear your thoughts down below on the Dylan Larkin contract. What do you think of this extension? Is it a fair deal? And if you're a Sabres fan and you're looking at these numbers that Larkin's getting paid and you compare the stats to Reinhart, do you see Reinhart being a $6 million player? Because I personally would think that a lot of people probably wouldn't have pegged him getting that much of a new contract. Reinhart and Larkin play the game very differently, but statistically speaking, they've accomplished pretty much a lot of the same things here. So I guess time will tell what Reinhart gets for a contract here. Hopefully that's resolved between him and the Sabres here very soon. So if you're a Sabres fan, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, what your thoughts are on the Larkin contract, and if you think Reinhart's going to end up with a very similar number. Now, last but not least here, I want to touch on Brady Tkachuk and the Ottawa Senators. Now, news did break today out of Ottawa media indicating that Brady Tkachuk has indicated to his folks at Boston University that he would not be returning to them and that he would be signing his pro contract with the Ottawa Senators, which means he'll be going into training camp this fall with the Sens. Now, this is not a guarantee that he makes the club and plays at the NHL level here all year. I would be shocked if he doesn't at the very least get a small sample size, but that does mean a number of possibilities here for Tkachuk. It just means that he won't be going to Boston University. Now, the rules are different depending on your scenario here, but he could end up actually playing in one of 3 different leagues. He could end up playing in junior in the Ontario Hockey League, because his rights do belong to the London Knights. It's a very strong program. It was just announced that the London Knights got Mark Hunter back after leaving Toronto. He was obligated to sit out a period of time this summer before he was allowed to accept other work. He's since returned back to his roots to be the new general manager again for the London Knights. Now, there was some speculation, I don't know if this is true, but I did hear that there were some family reasons related to that as well. So regardless of the reasons, Mark Hunter's back to his roots in junior, and he did a tremendous job there before, and that program is an incredibly force of putting out great hockey players. So it would not be a bad move at all for Tkachuk to play a year with the OHL London Knights. So that's a possibility here. And the other possibility is because he wouldn't be coming directly from the CHL, that they could possibly send him down to the American Hockey League. He could play at the pro level in Belleville as well. The other option here, of course, is that he has a great training camp, makes a team, and actually spends his full rookie season playing in Ottawa. So any of those 3 scenarios are possible. Like I said, the rules are different depending on where players are coming from and all that. So I just want to explain that just because the news broke that he's signing his pro contract doesn't mean that he's 100% playing in Ottawa this year. That very well could set the table for him to go play in junior, because that certainly was speculated earlier this summer that could be a possibility as well. But at the very least, it's good news for Ottawa to get him under contract, which is good news for the organization for a change. But it's hard to say for sure if he'll be in their lineup for the whole year. But I would suspect he'll at the very least get a small sample size of games early on. Now, one other quick note here before we go as well. It happened a few days ago. I've just been kind of waiting to squeeze it into another video here with some other signings. But the Anaheim Ducks have come to terms as well with their 2018 first-round selection, taking number 23 overall, Isac Lundestrom. Was a forward out of Sweden. So he's now under contract with the Ducks, but he is fully expected to remain playing in the SHL over in Sweden for the 18-19 season and possibly coming to play in North America the year after. So that gets us all caught up from all the latest signings here from the past couple of days. So make sure you leave your comments down below and we can continue the conversation based on what you think down in the comment section. Now, in case you missed it as well the other day, we've officially launched our Top Shelf Hockey merchandise store where we're mainly selling some t-shirts and other accessories. If you haven't yet had a chance to check that out yet, there is a link down below in the description. I'd appreciate it if you'd have a look and consider buying a brand new Top Shelf Hockey t-shirt. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.